Well, hello tubers. Today I'm coming to you from Palm Desert, California, here on a beautiful December day. So today we're going to talk about how long can a foreigner legally stay in America. It's a complicated affair, and I'll talk about it. Now, the thing to keep in mind, the US government is now sharing data with Canada on how long you can stay in the country. It used to be they only keep track of people coming into the country but not leaving, so it's very difficult to keep track of these things. And everybody thinks of this 183-day rule or 6 months, and generally that is the rule, but it's a little more complex than that. Because you want to make sure you're not deemed a U.S. resident for tax purposes, and that will happen if you overstay and don't play by the rules. Definitely don't need to file another tax return with another government. I'd just rather avoid that completely. So the way it works is they count how many days in the current year you've been in the country, and then you add to it 1/3 of the days in your previous year in the U.S., and then you add to that number 1/6 of the days you were in the country 2 years prior. So for me, luckily last year I spent very little time in the U.S. because of personal circumstances, so it was about 9 days, so that counts for 3. The year before that was 2 months, about 60 days, so that counts for 10. So 3 plus 10, 13, subtract that from 180. I could stay in the U.S. 170 days. That's assuming, of course, I don't do those day trips across the border, which I often do. Now, what'll happen if you overstay and they find out? Well, they can ban you 3 years, 10 years, or forever. And of course, if the border guard suspects you're overstaying or has proof of overstaying, it's their job to deny you entry. So best to avoid these circumstances. Now, if there's an injury, there's a reason that you cannot leave the country, there are a legal process for extending your stay. Obviously, I mean, they're not morons. So best to keep track of these things and avoid situations, especially tax situations, with the US government. Generally, these same rules apply to Europeans and Australians too. And of course, depending on where you're coming from, you may also need to get a visa. Canadians, luckily, were automatically given a B2 visa. There's no paperwork, there's no stamp, there's nothing. It's automatic. If you are a Canadian citizen, you get a B2 visa automatically. You cannot work and you cannot vote, but you can pretty much do anything else. And spend your money, obviously, that's what they want. So I hope this explains a few things. Probably a few immigration lawyers or experts may even weigh in further on more nuances, because obviously I often get a lot of technical questions on these things. But what I just mentioned is a very good rule of thumb to keep in mind. In the meantime, stay safe, keep your wheels on the ground.